Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Tankovy Deck Deep Dive, this time around with the 31st Tankovy. But before we jump in, quick shout out to Wano League Season 5 coming around at the 29th of September. And we already have a good couple of signups, but there are still slots open. And if you want to get into competitive Wano, no matter if you're a fresh player just getting into Wano and want to get more into the 1v1 scene, or if you're a veteran, there is a spot there for you. It's split into 4 divisions based on skill level. So if you're new, you're gonna start in Division 4 against other newer and casual players and have a good time there. If you're a veteran, you will be faced against the creme de la creme of Wano players and have to fight those guys. And we work on a really cool rule set. We work on better content creation all around it as well. And a really good structure there. Season 5 will have a couple of cool changes, so don't you miss that out. And sign up down below. New map pool, new divisions, and so on. The Division 5 should be great. And let's get in here now. With I am Bman, the 31st Tankovy. Logistics tab, 3 supply trucks, BM1 KR, K3 as your 3 availability CV. The Mi-22 actually here, not that terrible with 10 ECM, 10 hit points, and 270 kmh if you like helicopter CVs, but I'm not the biggest fan of those. And the BM1 K3 doesn't have smoke, which is really annoying for this thing, but at least it has 3 availability, and it can survive a couple of artillery hits with its 10 hit points and 3 frontal armor, and it actually sometimes can help out dealing with weaker units as well, but usually you just move them around and capture stuff with. 3 supply cards are necessary because the Bman eats a lot of supply, and a lot of other units here eat a good bit of supply as well, your artillery too, so 3 cards are a necessity. Splitting them up between fast ones, slow, cheap ones, and the classic trucks is fine as well. Infantry tab, fully filled. Only 36 units here, but that's still fine. Especially because we bring the Motostrelki here with max vet in BMP2s. And that makes both the BMP2 and the infantry inside relatively capable. BMP2 now at 65 points, so you want to have it cost efficient. And at 2 vet, it absolutely still does that. Autocannon is good, Conquer is still great. And 100 points for the combo here with the RPG-22 Motostrelki is still a absolutely fair price point. Normal Motostrelki with the better RPG, but 5 points more in the BMP-1P. With the better veterancy, this Fagot gets better as well. Main gun gets a bit better as well. So that's why we bring these guys like this. And then we bring our baseline infantry with the Czechoslovaks, as they get a 9 hit point unit here with a still good RPG and the OT-64. These come at 1 vet, so that they are combat efficient, but you have a couple more numbers here, as you want to have these guys in your town fights together with the Sub-Harry RPO, with the RPO-A launcher that stuns down the enemy. So the mix here is pretty nice. And the double medium machine gun makes the Streltsy quite capable as well, so that you have a bit more firepower and manpower than in your normal Soviet tank division, where the Motostrelki are your mainline infantry all around. And then you have a Conqueror's ATGM card, solid ATGM infantry team, good for the flanks. Could go for a Fagot as well, but I feel like the Conquerors is just that bit more reliable, one-shotting all IFVs and so on, so I'd rather go with those. Artillery, you have the Acacias, and I feel like those are kind of the must. I like them at 1 vet so that they have a good bit better aim time, going from 26 to 22 seconds. That can be a big difference. Rate of fire improvement is nice as well. And then we take the Prima here. Could maybe take something else as well, though unfortunately you don't get double vet, 2 availability on double vet for the D30s anymore, but maybe mortars could be choice as well. But I kind of like to have the Prima option. It's really supply inefficient, this thing, but clustering enemy AA or clustering enemy big tank blobs still can be helpful with this thing from time to time. I don't think you're gonna bring it out often in 1v1, but sometimes there is a spot where a rocket cluster can be really helpful, and then you have it as a tool. But I don't think you really need the other tools in this deck. The Bman is your smoke tool, and the Acacias do the damage that the others here don't need to do anymore at that point. Tank tap, 25 tanks, 2 CVs here, so we go up to 7. Malyutka unit here, not as necessary with the amount of IFVs you get, plus Conqueror's team here, plus T-72B with the severe missile. So we leave these guys out and go full on tanks. You have 2 CV tanks, you have the T-72B with the severe and the one without, and 30 points price difference there I think is a fair price reduction on this. 19 pen, 18 frontal armor for 210 points is pretty good. The range obviously a bit lower, like would be 18 pen on max range, and the accuracy and rate of fire are a bit lower than the other heavier tanks, but 18 frontal armor is great, and the extra hit point there helping out as well. The T55AM ones are pretty cost efficient at 2 vet as well. 105 points for max range and decent accuracy here on these guys. And with 2 vet, still 4 availability is great as well. The normal T55A and not the T55AM2 veterancy curve. And that means you still get 8 of these on 2 vet, and then they are pretty nice. You want to use them a bit different than the normal T55A though. You don't want to push them into the CQC combat as much, and rather use their range advantage to snipe enemy IFVs or fight enemy light tanks like against divisions like DivMob or so. This is a really helpful tool to deal with those numbers. And then you have 2 cards of the other T-72s, the OBR-79 with 15 frontal armor, 19 pen, and then the 2 extra frontal armor here on the OBR-81, which is the main difference between these two. And this one has the better vet curve, so we bring them at 2 vet here, 3 availability. That's a tank that you can bring around quite often in the opener, and then you have the better frontal armor one, and you can pick and choose which you really need. And as you still have 13 normal T-72s, 17 with the leader ones, you still have a lot of heavy tanks here going around, so don't think you need another card here, because the deck is already expensive enough. So yeah, having these is quite nice. Recon tab is where the Bman is. You get RT Retvetka. You can go normal Retvetka, like that's just a flavor thing. If you like to use the second trait and you have time to use it, you can go with these guys. If you don't feel like using it, just go with the cheaper 1 more hit point normal Retvetka. But you want one of these. You also want one BRM1K to move your tank with the exceptional optics. Mod Retvetka can be pretty helpful as well. The BMP1P has smoke, has the Fagot for 45 points. That's only 5 points more than the normal one, and has good optics there. And the Mod Retvetka themselves are fine as well. So this is a pretty solid fighting recon squadron. Retvetka Saperi could be an option as well, but I like to have AT on my recon infantry. And then we have the Bman, and this is kind of the difference maker here between this and a lot of other Soviet decks together with the Streltsy. And the direct fire rockets are great against light infantry and light vehicles, and the smoke rockets are really, really helpful. The smoke rockets help out with this thing and the T-72s to get the engagement arcs that you want, as with 2-second aim time and then direct fire, you can pop them out real fast. You can't quite pop them out to break off enemy ATGMs when they fly, but like once you spot an enemy unit trying to flank you, you can react quickly, smoke that off, and it can't do anything anymore whilst you keep your frontal attack, or you smoke the middle of the field so that T-72s can push into their gun range and then just shred the enemy there. So the Bman, really, really helpful tool that you should learn how to use efficiently. I am not perfect with it yet either. I'm still working on that, but I think this is really the difference maker tool in this deck. MI24Ks can be nice in some matchups as well, but in general, I would go with a lineup like this. AA tab, a pretty good one as well. As we get coups, and we go with the pro-commy way of upweighting our first coup that we bring in the opener, so that just is a good bit more efficient, slightly higher rate of fire, so that it can get all its missiles out on enemy planes coming in, and especially more importantly, the higher accuracy, so that your coup is a reliable AA piece, because you need it to be reliable. And then we have a second card of coup with 1 vet, so that we have 3 coups in total coming around. Piusas and Iglas coming along as well. Piusa versus Igla is just about the producer being actually really helpful with the coup against 10 hit point planes. These coups deal 9 damage. This one can finish them off with dealing that 1 extra damage. And then we have the Igla. Helicopter, MI-24V, ATs coming around. Those are the one with 8 cocons for 150 points and a couple of rockets. I like them quite a lot, more than the heavy rocket ones that, sure, the rockets have more range and are a bit more capable, but I like to have 8 cocons on my Mi-24s to deal with all the light vehicles. Like, that's usually where I bring them in, to deal with light vehicles and stop tanks. I'm not quite bringing them in as much to kill off infantry. So yeah, the 8 cocons here I feel like is the better choice. And then we have the fighter, the air tap, where you need the shotgun fighters just to have some chance of stopping enemy air spam and just getting them in there and stopping the enemy on top of your coops and being able to annoy seed plane and so on. And then Mi-24K AT2, fantastic, especially helpful against heavy tank decks. Taking out 1 or 2 of those heavy tanks might allow you to get the number advantage on the ground for a moment and just break through there with your T-72s. So that's why we take these. The other planes, not really important. So strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, this deck has a stronger tank tap, strong cost-efficient tank tap. It has good support units, artillery and AA, and it has a versatile infantry tap. Weaknesses, weak air tap. That is for sure. No forward deployment. That is always a big weakness. And slightly low numbers, like just across the board. Like, units run out eventually, and then you struggle a bit with replacing them, but you need the cost efficiency, so you have to up that a lot in this deck in my eyes to really make it efficient. And that's why you end up with slightly low numbers, 36 here. The tank tap, as I said, it's not easy to run out, but it can run out, which other tank taps of heavier tank divisions might not do. Artillery, if you lose the Acacias, you can't replace them, but you need the efficiency. Same on the AA, you only have 3 coups. If you lose them, your air is really vulnerable, and so on. So you have to be a bit more careful in this deck with some of your more important tools, but you get rewarded with cost efficiency whilst you have them, and that's the key part here, and that's what you have to push through. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know down below how much success you had with 31st so far, and see you all in the next one.